And what is up? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. So we are starting this off right away. We got the 370Z Nismo 2JZ swap in our presence. So what we're taking care of today, again, guys, we're getting right into it. So this video is actually going live right after Drew's video went live. So if you haven't seen his video, make sure you do so, because it won't make sense unless you have seen his video. If you want details and the actual you know, I guess explanation, you have to watch his video. So I'll actually put it in the description, and then I'll actually put his channel name on the screen right here. But long story short, I went to start this car last week, ran into, you know, minor issues that we're actually going to fix today. So one thing that I do want to go over, because a lot of people kind of struggle with this, and I've actually gotten some questions in my DMs on Instagram. So one of the things I'm gonna go over is how to wire a relay when you are doing a fuel pump. Now this particular setup is going to be a little different, just because and I'll kind of go over it a little bit more a little later, but it's gonna be a little different because this is actually the fuel pump wire is coming right off the aftermarket ECU that he has, and the polarity is gonna be a little different. So again, I'll explain this a little later, but we're doing that today. And then we also have to supply ignition power to his aftermarket ECU. What ECU is this?
ECU Masters.
ECU Masters. Okay, so yeah, we have to supply an ignition switch to his ECU Masters ECU. I don't know if I have to say that twice or not. And we're gonna be using the cigarette lighter, so we will be doing that today also. And
the last thing is the drive-by-wire.
Drive-by-wire, yeah. I'll let you explain that, because I don't. Dang, these lights are kind of hot, to be honest.
Basically, with the drive-by-wire is basically, you know how usually cars would have a throttle cable to connect from their pedal to the actual throttle body. So when you push the pedal down, it opens the throttle body, if that makes sense. So with drive-by-wire, there isn't a cable at all involved. It's basically sensors talking to each other. So there's a sensor on the pedal, there's a sensor in the ECU, and then there's also a sensor on the throttle body itself. So that way, when you push the pedal down, the pedal talks to the ECU, which the ECU talks to the throttle body to open. So it's kind of like some Bluetooth stuff going on. So with that being said, all we have to do, we already wired one side of it, which was the ECU to the throttle body. So the next side is just the pedal to the ECU, and then we're done. So I hope that was easy.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It makes sense. But yeah, so it's pretty much just those three things, and then we should be able to get back in line with you know, starting this car. All right, guys, so in order to wire up your fuel pump, you got to know how it really works. So that's why I'm here. So this one's a little different. Typically, well, I'm not even getting that. That's too advanced. So relay. In order to power on a relay, you need power and negative on each side in order for a relay to turn on, right? So power over here. So negative or positive or negative. It doesn't matter which way it goes. As long as you have positive on one side and negative on one side, it will turn on the relay. So when a relay is on, connectors 30 and 87 are going to be connected, right? And when the relay is off, this is a fuel pump relay, because you don't need 87A, so that's why it kind of looks a little weird. But when it's off, 30 and 87A will be connected. So in order for, again, this relay to turn on, we have to have positive and negative. So how we're gonna wire it up so that it works on here. And again, this application is a little different. The reason why is because typically, I believe, well, no, because your tuner said that
you wanted to have a
negative.
Yeah. So when the key is triggered on to the on position,
yeah,
you want it to throw out a negative, so that way the relay flicks on. But I guess usually
it is a positive.
Yeah, it is a positive.
Yeah. So like on a normal application, like a normal car, typically. Typically it's a positive.
Yeah.
But this application is a little different because
standalone ECU.
Yeah, standalone ECU, he said it's supposed to throw a negative, but it's not, it's throwing a positive, right? So how we're gonna wire this up, right? So we have positive on, I'm gonna give you terminal names that way, just in case you guys wanna do this. So we have positive going on 80, what is that, 86, right? And again, it needs a negative and positive. So we have positive going on 86, which is going to his standalone, right? And then we have ground going to 85. Now how that's going to turn on is 85 is always going to be grounded, right? But the ECU is in control of turning this on, because 86 is not always going to have power. It's only going to have power when the standalone gives it power, right? So say for example, this is grounded, you know, and then 86 is connected to the ECU. When he turns on the key, then that gets power. The relay is going to get power, and then on what is this 30, we're gonna have 12 volt. Now the whole reason why you need a relay is because when you upgrade your relay, so say for, or not, sorry, your fuel pump, and you're running like a Hellcat, what is it, a 525?
Yeah, 525.
That draws more current than what the car typically supplies, right? So then you need a relay to boost that current. So again, to kind of reiterate, so on this application, we have the standalone wire going on 86, we have ground on 85, and then we have 12 volt on 30, and then we have the actual wire that's going to the fuel pump on, what is that, 87. And I hope that made sense, but in a sense, that's basically how you're supposed to wire it. And again, the only reason why you need a relay is so that you can kind of boost that current, because without it, you would basically kind of burn some stuff up.
Yeah.
And it's actually very important that you use the right gauge wire. So in this application, we're using 10 gauge wire. You can pick it up at Walmart, AutoZone, or Rallies, any of that, any of those spots right there. So we pretty much did this already. All we have to do, so we gotta plug it up. All right. And so we already have the wire that's going to the ECU on 86. We already have 85 grounded, or we have a terminal on there. We just have to ground it. We're gonna run 30 to the battery.
And then what is
yes,
that for?
These are fuse holders. So anytime you grab power for anything in the car, you always want to connect an inline fuse to it. Now this Jill's a little fancy. He wanted to go to the store and get an inline fuse. You can actually make these. I don't know if I have actually I do have the examples right here. I don't know if you'll be able to get to it. But yeah, in a sense, that's kind of advanced. If you guys want to go to the store and pick up these, I highly recommend it. Yeah, you need to.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. You want to put a 30 amp too on your fuse for the what?
And I would say, as far as placement, where would you put that?
Right by the battery. So
yeah. So you want it closest.
I can't think. Yes, as close as possible. I think it can't be no more than 8 inches, if I'm not mistaken, from the power source. So if you're grabbing power from the battery or wherever you're grabbing power, this fuse can't be I think it's no more than, it's like 8 or 6 inches away from the power source.
So basically, you want it at the battery and not near, you know,
the
supplier. You know, or
yeah,
not
exactly.
The
so
supply,
you can't like grab power from like the battery and then like put this by the fuse, because the whole point of a relay, guys, is so that if the power if the current does spike, it pops the fuse and it doesn't allow current to go through the wire. So think about this. Say you grab power from the battery and you put this fuse back here by the relay. If the current spikes where, you know, say for example, negative gets in the line somewhere, right? That means that current has to travel all the way down this line, all the way over here just to pop this fuse. By the time it gets here, I promise you a fire will start, depending on obviously how bad the spike is. But that's the whole point of a fuse. So it basically protects the vehicle and the vehicle's wiring from burning down. It blows the fuse before, you know, anything bad can happen. So again, definitely would recommend picking that up. 10 gauge fuse, or 10 gauge wire with fuse. And yeah, like I said, this is pretty much done. So we just have to run this red wire to the battery, and yeah, we is done. I told you this was gonna be long enough. Yeah, because this has to go all the way to the battery, guys. So right, the fuse the relay is going right here, and
it has to go behind that stuff, right too.
Behind here.
It might just work.
I knew you were gonna say that. I do it.
Might just work, sir.
I don't know, sir. Well, you know what's gonna save you even if it does?
Yeah, this. Oh yeah, you're right.
What is this? An extra foot?
Technically, yeah. That's crazy.
All right. Well, so we're gonna strip this. You guys get to learn my stripping little.
Love to strip.
There we go. Like that. All right. So we're gonna connect. Now, the one thing that's that kind of sucks, and this is where you gotta keep your own like blueprint for your car. In a car application, so DC power is going to be cars, right? 12 volts, low voltage. It's always going to be either yellow or red for 12 volt. So the fact that we're using black kind of sucks. Now, if we're doing AC power, which is like houses and all that, black's always going to be your power. But obviously that's a different story for the time, different application. But Yeah, the only reason why I point that out is because like if you ever have to go back and look at wiring and stuff, you just want to take note that this is not ground, it is power, you know, so you just don't want to mistake that.
For our application,
yeah,
this is power.
Yeah, exactly. Now if you find 10 gauge wire that's yellow or red,
perfect.
Yeah, good on you, perfect.
Yeah.
But
yeah, at the store today they didn't have that. So
yeah. The thing is, I don't think that's common. You would have to like either order that or go to a wiring specialty place. Yeah, you don't have black tape, so
I do.
You have black tape?
So. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. All right, so right before we tape it, again, I'm gonna reiterate. Now, this application is a little different, again, because what we're doing, this is not a stock ECU, so it's a little different. So what we're doing it for, again, we have the ECU power right here, we have ground right here, we have 12 volts right here, and we have the wire for the fuel pump right here. So to explain what's gonna happen, ground's already gonna be right here at all times. When that ECU comes on and says, hey, turn on the fuel pump, this end gets power, relay powers up. When that happens, these two are connected. So when the relay comes on, these terminals have what they got. 12 volts right here, it's gonna connect it and it's gonna put 12 volts here. So 12 volts here, and then it puts 12 volts to the fuel pump. And again, each application might be a little different, but based off what you guys know, you can apply it to your vehicle and you'd be good. You'd be good. All right, guys, so now everything is complete. So we have it grounded again. We have the harness plug connected to the actual top hat. We have that wire that we had to run to the battery completed. So everything's done back here. And now it doesn't look complete because this plate is off. The reason why it's off, because we want to test everything, make sure everything works, make sure that it actually turns on, right? But just to kind of show you guys down here. So again, we did put a fuse coming from the ECU because we want to protect that. Because like the tuner was saying, I guess this is it's not normal. It's supposed to have a ground coming off of here, but it has a 12 volt. And I guess he said, you know, it's kind of dangerous, I guess, if it has a 12 volt, because if something, you know, were to happen, then it would fry the ECU. So I was like, I actually asked him this. I told him, I said, you know, if we put a fuse on it, then technically that should protect the actual ECU itself, because if power spikes, it would blow this fuse and it won't allow it to go to the ECU. And then he was like, oh, I don't know if that's gonna work, this and that. I was like, well, yeah, I mean, it should, you know, because that's what a fuse is for. So theoretically, you know, putting a fuse on it definitely should protect the ECU. So we went ahead and did that. So that's complete. And then we have the power coming from the battery complete up here. So everything's done. I think we're gonna test it right now. So
ready? Is that part still connected for
the truth? I'm just kidding. What happened?
Is that part still connected for the jumper?
I believe so. Okay. Yeah, he's talking about the ECU. Yeah, everything's connected down there to give the ECU power. Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah, I guess. Good.
I'm scared it's gonna start spraying fuel.
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing. It's on, so it's supposed to, you know, real quick.
Okay. Oh wait.
Who man's is this?
I'm dead. You gotta put the relay on. Yeah, let me plug it up. Let's see. Let that thing good. Now you get a second try. I'd hope.
This fool. That's
but we'll know too if this works, because you'll hear the relay click on too.
Click too, yeah.
All right, here we go. Ready? Go.
1, 2.
There we go. All right, turn off. Oh, I hear some leakage, sir. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Hey, that's good news though. You
Yeah,
know?
no, it definitely is, but I heard that it was spraying like a, yeah.
I don't know where. Let me see if
Damn,
get my
that was strong
flashlight.
too.
Yeah, it is. Not right there. I think it's at the bottom.
Well, let's look in the ground. Let's see what we got, folks. Can you guys see it?
Not really. Let's go on the side.
Yeah.
I think it's I I would presume that it's right here, which is where the flex
sensor.
Flex sensor and all that. Yeah.
Huh.
That's what I would assume. And yeah, you probably don't see it on the ground either.
Oh
because
yeah.
The tray, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's right there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's literally where it is. So
yeah.
That's actually good news though because it didn't leak from up there. You know?
Yeah. Wait.
So
Did it?
no.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's dry.
Let's see.
I'll look at the flashlight.
Huh.
Yeah, it didn't leak from up there.
He's correct.
Yeah, it should just be right here. So that's really good. Then that means like everything fairly tight just after that. So.
And now we know that our relay works. Let's go, baby.
Dude, that's crazy because
let's go.
If we did that, or if you did that, hey, props to you, man. Robert, bro, he's a freaking genius when it comes to that. But if we did that before, bro, this thing would have turned on.
Yeah.
Which would have been crazy, you know, to hear. Well, maybe because of the whole drive-by-wire, but still.
Well,
so.
No, it would have turned on.
You think so? Even with the not having like a throttle.
I think so because you don't need throttle to turn the car on.
Technically, especially it's not on E85.
Yeah, exactly. I just think obviously that didn't work, so there was no reason for him to, you know, turn it on. But I think because that didn't work, he was like, you know, just fix that. Because I'm pretty sure if that worked, then he would have been able to turn it on at least.
Because all the sensors were, like you said, they were good. Even with it leaking, it still would have ran, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's a big fuel pump.
And that's the thing, though, bro. If he would have gave me like
couple more minutes to like think, because I saw you were like in your element, you know what I mean? You were trying to think, and he was like, no, I'm done.
I was like, I get it too, but if he would have gave me like 3 minutes, bro, I could have did it at like 3 minutes, you know?
Bro, I wish I could have recorded this with Robert, like, because I was on the phone with the tuner, and I was trying to like stall him as much as I could, but Robert was like, well, let me see. He was like trying to run all these numbers. I saw like all these calculations. I was like, oh shoot. He was like, I could tell he was really trying to like get it done and stuff. Just, I wanted to too, but I could tell the tuner was like trying to get off, and Rob was like, it was so funny. It was so funny.
All right, so we have everything all tidied up. So this part's all actually you guys can't even see, my bad, and the light's not even on. Well, just now that the fuel pump, all that's done. We put the panel back on and everything. And then we went ahead and took care of the cigarette lighter that jumps over to the ECU for the ignition. Got that all tied up with the fuse. So as you guys can see, the panel's back on. This part's complete for the most part. So now all he has to do that we figured out in this process is he has to tighten up the AN lines that goes to the flex fuel. And then we still have to do the connections for the throttle. And that's it.
That's pretty much it. The coil packs.
Oh, and coil packs. Yeah.
The OEM new coil packs. Other than that, yeah, that's pretty much it. It's kind of exciting.
It really is. The thing. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that was it. Yeah, it's kind of exciting. I'm stoked, man. I'm stoked.
So this means that this car might be starting this week. Last week was a tease. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was.
Last week was a tease, yo, and we had a big scare. But I'm just glad that I guess it would have been cool for it to start the first time, but like given like all the time and effort and money and just blood, sweat, and tears into this, it was kind of in a sense like unrealistic, you know, because it's not like you say all the time. It's not something that like's off the shelf.
Yeah.
You know, so. Thinking that it would start the first time with absolutely no issues would be kind of unrealistic. And the fact that, as you guys can see, we're not in the shop, we're in a garage. You know, this is all done in a garage. You know, we don't have mechanics, or excuse me, he doesn't have mechanics that just comes at his freaking the snap of his fingers like, hey, put this, you know what I mean? So
it's all us, you know, just doing stuff. So yeah, you're right. But I'm happy with the progress for sure. You know, I think it makes the process fun, and then when you put your hands on everything, I agree. You know, you know the car too. So if something fails, it's like, oh, you know what it is. You know
exactly.
what I mean? So,
facts, bro. That's why that's my argument with everything. Is when you do it yourself, something goes wrong, not necessarily you know exactly what it is, but you know where to start.
Exactly.
You know, it's like, oh shoot, I remember when I did that. Or or I can see that failing in the future or whatever. So I don't know. So yeah, like I said, we're done. We're gonna save part 2 for when we do the connections for the throttle. And that would be our last thing, other than of course the coil packs. But that's just kind of, I think you just have to get the coil packs and
coil packs, I have the harness.
The harness
right there, which is kind of weird. Yeah, you guys can see what I'm talking about when I say it literally only has 3 coil packs. So this crazy, is the main plug to the harness, and then these are just the 3 for the coil packs. So yeah, super weird. But yeah, once I get the coil packs, throw those in, and do that. Honestly, maybe even the next video too. Once we do that, we could probably start it. You know, try to get the tuner on board and whatnot. So, you know, that'd be that'd be crazy, bro.
That would be crazy.
And then after that, you know, hoping everything else is good, then tune, you know, would be nice. And that's it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's kind of crazy. But yeah, I'm excited, man. Let's get this thing on the road.
I absolutely. And the thing is, like, I felt like I came in like right on time with this build. When I came, he didn't have the engine in the car, so seeing like the whole process, you know, getting the engine in the car, and then like just doing little things, you know, wiring and all that stuff. So we are literally at the end of the road. Make sure you guys stay tuned for the next video. Other than that, I will catch you in the next one. Peace out, stay safe, and stay tuned.
Whoa! Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believed me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic got to say. I got them picking up the pieces. That to me, you really playing with your life. I'm about to come and run it all back. I'm the new era, about to snap back. You ain't fitting for it, cause you all cap like.